Hey, hello everyone. I want to share how you can set up a Dell R620 old servers. These are pretty old servers, but you can buy in eBay very cheap. But there are a couple of steps you need to take once you buy that to make sure your servers are in right condition and you set up it in the right way. And if you're new to this, sometime you want to do home automation lab, you are typically a software developer, you're not into hardware or infrastructure much. It's a good, this video can help you to get the idea. So let's get started. So you can find this kind of old servers, Dell 610, R610, R620, R630 is a little bit expensive, and there are a lot of HP. So all these servers are similar. They are old, they are a little cheap now because end of the life, but you can use it for a lot of your home automations and other experiments. Instead of using cloud, you can always use cloud, that's most preferable, but you also have to pay a lot. But if you wanted to just just your quick and dirty experiment, these are good. So what is this service all about, how it is different from a PC or a typical desktop computer? So basically these servers has just servers, so that means it's like a rack, it's supposed to be mounted in a rack, but you can put it anywhere, any storage area in your home. And it comes with basically CPU, memory, and it has a hot swap disk. So you see this, there are this particular is the image you see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. It has eight hot swap hard disk. So you can literally hot swap it, as long as you have the primary one is fine. So it hot swap, then it's on the fly, you can add a new storage onto this. But how it works, so once you get it, I've put a couple of steps. So once you get it, you connect to the power cable, and it typically has two power cable, one is redundant, so you can use one, second one is not needed, but it's recommended because if one is fails, it makes sure the server still gets power, because if it is abnormal power shutdown impacts the server. And then you start the server, let it boot, and typically what happens is, what this server has a software still in it in the ROM. So basically, Dell, like in this case, or maybe HP or others, they have a software into built into the hardware appliance, and that is called Dell. And they when it put it, it says it's in going to Dell interface or server interface. So it's typically you should put a F10. Once you put F10, it goes to Dell integrated, it's called integrated Dell remote access controller, iDRAC. So once you log in, you have all these features, but this application is kind of a full-fledged web applications. You can access it anywhere remotely in a browser. So all you need to make sure is this server is connected to by Ethernet port, and it has access to your network. So you should be able to access to your anywhere in the network with the private IP assigned to that. So you can use either. So when you go to this id rack, you have a network configuration, you have option to assign a static ip. In that case, you need to make sure the ip you are using, your router has not assigned it to any other device, so there's no ip conflict. Or you can use dhcp, so that means let the server assign it to it, so you can take that ip, and you have an option to reserve that ip once it is assigned based on the router you are using. And That's pretty much it, I mean. So you should another pro tip is, when you get it, you should run a server diagnostics, so that will actually check all your hardwares are properly or not. So now once you all this done, your network is connected, now you should be able to access. You don't need to be in front of the server anymore, you can manage that server anywhere, wherever in that network you have access to the network. So let's say this is an example. I have set up one server, and some reason I'm not having some issue with this server, and but I have been able to set it up. It's exposed in my local network, this so 192 168.86.34. This is the id rack url. So it is somewhere in my lab, but I can access it from this computer. So once I click that, it will take me to that ID rack console. So see, look into this. So this is a full-fledged web application. I have not installed anything. It just came as a bare metal. So this is called integrated remote access controller 7. uh, so so this is where you see this dlog 03 server. This is the dns I have set up when I logged in. So I have set up, that's why it is identifying, and this is saying the name. So let me log in. I have an administrator user called root. This is password, and this is the domain. So iDRAC domain, I'm logging in. So see, it comes out of the box, this beautiful UI. You can manage everything out of the box, and this has some problem, and I will show you. This server currently not able to have put two disks, one 600 GB and one terabyte, but the server is unable to scan and recognize those disks. And I have two redundant power supply, but some reason the power supply is, you see, when I'm going battery, fans, intrusions, removal, flash media, temperature, voltage, all good. The power supply is something wrong. Let's see what's going on. So you see this ps status failure, status is present slash failure. I don't know what does it mean, why it is showing one so power configuration available through, I don't know what exactly this is. So it says redundant power supply option, redundant input power, redundant. Do I need to change it? I'm not doing anything. Hot spare, power factor correction, I'm not doing any changes. This came in out of the box. No power cap policy. Okay, so it's like that. So this is what voltages are. Let's see. So I don't know a lot of these things. I'm not really an expert on this. I just started experimenting on this. You have virtual codes, you have a lot of server related information. You have set up, you can make those changes from here. So normal boot, troubleshooting, you can troubleshoot. I guess you have a diagnostic, which I was talking about. You can reset the iDRAC. Then so you can see last crash screen. I don't know about what is support assistant. Does it actually talk to Dell? Cannot send collection, iDRAC. Service ISM not installed on the server operating system. Install ISM on the server OS using download.dl. Okay. Okay, those are not support assist is not available. License, let's see the licenses. iDRAC 3 license option. It doesn't have any license status. Okay, to view this, okay. I don't know. So about this, what is intrusion? System board intrusion chases is closed. And the network, let's go to the network. So you see here, NIC, I actually was trying with a dedicated iDRAC. It was not working, but I choose the LOM one, which is network interface one, and it started assigning an IP address by my router, and I have put this DNS name. You can change it from here, and you see it's using IPv4. It's not using IPv6. Um, all these things. So user authentications. Okay, let's go back to the network. There are many tabs. So there are SSL tabs, this, then the serial port is this, and then the serial LAN is this, services is this, and OS to iDRAC pass through is this. Okay, then user authentication is this, rollback, update. Know about this iDRAC settings. Okay, the hardware. So see, there are different hardware. So power supplies is only showing something wrong. I don't know. So CPU are in the good conditions. Memory all are good condition. Front panel, something LCD screen, I don't know. As something shows network devices, the NIC1, only one is being used. The power supply, I don't know what is this AC type. So I have actually plugged in, but it's saying status present slash failure. That means it's present, but the PS1 power individual power supply element is showing failure, so we need to see. Then you have a storage, and here you see this is where my problem is, it's unable to recognize the disk. So you see date and time, it's a long back. This date it says the integrated date controller was removed, but this was, the date was initially wrong, I changed it recently, it was wrong. So you see there's no physical disk, there's no virtual disk. I clicked on the physical disk, let's see. See, it's giving an error. There are no out of band capable controller be displayed. Check if the host system is power off or shut down. No, host system is on. I don't know why it is giving. So click on setup. It's the same error. Click on identify, the same error. So virtual disk, same. You can't create, if you don't have a physical disk, you can't create virtual disk, right? You should be able to create. So same thing I'm getting for controller, storage controller, same troubleshooting. Let's see, the same error, the host OS, I don't have any host OS module. So that's it, guys. I mean, you see, there's a I'm started learning it, but this is how a problem you can identify when you buy a new server. And make sure you follow these steps, and then only you start using it. And make sure this, definitely make sure you change the iDRAC administrator password, and your and make sure your this is not exposed to externally. Nobody should have access to this in the console. This is a super, people can do anything. So make sure you have proper firewall rule in place to access it. Hope it is useful to you and you learn something like me. And thank you for watching. Have a nice day.